What is up, everybody? Get Zapped here with GamingHero.io, and today I want to take you guys on a quick journey so that we can obtain these Ghostly Red Blighthound pets. This is a Blood Elf Hunter exclusive pet. To the best of my knowledge, no other race has access to these pets. You do keep them, I think, if you race change out of Blood Elf, but it does require you to start as a Blood Elf and do the Heritage Questline. So, I'm going to break this up into two separate sections. First, how to get the scenario set up so that you can tame these Blighthounds, and then how to obtain the Tome of Bone Binding, which you obtain from Shadowlands. That is what allows you to actually tame undead beasts, because even though these are in the hound family, they are still undead. So, let's kick it off. We're going to start with the Heritage Questline. Once you hit level 50 on your Blood Elf Hunter, they're going to ask you to come visit Lorthramar Theron in Silvermoon City. To get here, you can just take the portal from Orgrimmar, spit you out right here in this little side room, and then you can just run out and you can talk to Lorthram. He is going to ask you to go on a little journey, shedding some light on, and he's going to ask you to start in Tranquillin. Tranquillin is in the Ghostlands, and it's the first town. It's kind of like the Sentinel Hill for Blood Elves. You get to come down here, and this is where we're going to start. So you can either run there, or if you have all of the Eastern Kingdom's flight paths, you can just fly down to Tranquillin. I will show you where the Flight Master is here in Silvermoon City, because for whatever reason, their Flight Master is not actually in the city. So we have to run out of the city through the south entrance here, right at the Walk of Elders. And as you walk out of this big gate, we're going to hang a right, and we will see the Flight Master next to a bunch of Dragonhawks. Going to the right and off the beaten path over here, right next to the Silvermoon City Quartermaster. Alright, so I am going to speak to Flight Master. I'm going to fly down to Tranquillin. As you see, it's in a totally separate zone, but it is still part of the Heritage Quest. The point of the Heritage Quest is to see the fall of Silvermoon and kind of what happened, why there's a dead scar here, and what caused the Blood Elves to become the Blood Elves. A little history jaunt. So let's ride the flight down to Tranquillin, and I will see you again when we get there. Alright, we have landed in Tranquillin. If you are on the quest line, you are going to see Lorthramar standing here near this arch, and he's going to ask you, pick up a lantern for these little dancing girls. So polite. Once you have that lantern, he's going to talk to you for a second, and he's going to send you down to the gate, to the Sanctum of the Setting Sun. So get started, run down that way. And one of the quirks of the Blood Elf area is you cannot actually fly in these zones, so you do have to run the old-fashioned way. Just head south. Alright, as you run to the south and you see the gates, you're going to enter a zone called the Thalassian Pass, which I'm pretty sure is the Blood Elf version of Smasher Pass. You will see Lorthramar down here. You'll talk to him. You'll interact with this lantern. You can read the plaque if you'd like. It just kind of gives you some history. As Lorthramar explains to you, on the day that you were remembering, he lost his eye, making him the badass eye-patched warrior. Alright, so once you get down here, I don't have the quest anymore, so you will have to look for it. There's going to be a little highlight of your character saying shine the light here. You'll shine your light, and it's going to show you the memory of the day that Arthas and his undead horde started their march across the Blood Elven lands. You're going to fight until you fill up your bar to 100%, and then Arthas is going to freeze everybody, because ultimately you do lose. They are memories. Arthas did win this portion of the Scourge War. Now you kind of get to learn more about the Ranger General at the time. Lorthramar is going to tell you that it's time to go remember the Ranger General who stood to the last defending Kel'Thalas, and you have to go to Windrunner Spire. Those of you that don't know, Sylvanas Windrunner was the Ranger General at the time that gave literally everything to prevent Arthas from marching as quickly. She slowed him down a good bit, allowing a large portion of the Blood Elves to either flee or fortify. So she wasn't always bad, even though bad is subjective. I think what she did to those trees was totally warranted. Every time I jump on my dragon flying mount, or dragon riding mount, and dragonflight, it makes me hate every single tree and wish for Sylvanas, or Sylvanas 2, Electric Boogaloo. Alright, so when you come up here to Windrunner Spire, you're going to see a bunch of tormented banshees. You're going to have to kill 6 of them. If there's any other players here, you may have to run around. They do scale to your level. So when I did this, I was level 70. I was fighting level 70 banshees. But you'll kill 6 of them, and then you'll light the next lantern, so that you can remember Sylvanas. And of course, more lore. The lore never stops. If you're doing this out of time, you get the Lady's Necklace, which actually starts a pretty cool event in Undercity. I highly suggest farming that necklace and giving it a try. All right, once you learn a little bit more about Sylvanas, Lorthramar is going to want you to come up here roughly for the next phase. It's going to be another hold off against the undead. Give me just a second to run over there and I'll show you roughly where the correct spot is. All right, once you get here, you'll do your holdout quest again. And Lorthramar is going to let you know that the next portion of your quest takes place to the east of Fairbreeze Village, next to the East Sanctum. So from here, you can go back to Tranquillin, which is here, and then fly up, or you can run all the way up the Dead Scar. I recommend running up the Dead Scar just because it looks cool. During that quest line in particular, you get to see ghosts and remnants of the slaughter. And it kind of adds a little more weight, but you can just take the flight path to Fairbreeze Village. It's not against the rules or anything. It's just, are you going for speed or for style? All right, if you flew to Fairbreeze Village, you're gonna head to the east a little bit, and we're gonna be right next to the Eastern Sanctum. At this point, you're going to mount up in some ballistas. It'd be roughly right over here where this guy's standing, because he just finished. All right, so it's gonna be roughly right over here in this area. You'll jump in a ballista, you will kill the 100 or so undead that it asks you to, and then Lorthramar is going to let you know that he cannot continue with you on this adventure to go talk to the Flight Master in Fairbreeze Village, which you can get to by running up this way, and asking for a Dragonhawk to quell the Nos. There, he's going to reunite you with somebody that knows a little bit more about what happened the day that Arthas made it to the Sunwell. All right, once you get to the Flight Master, he will have a special prompt saying you need a ride to Quel'Danas. And if you take that one, you actually stay in the memory phase, and you can see Arthas's march to the Isle. You can see him as he's marching through the Dead Scar, and you can see as he creates a giant icy bridge, Path of Frost, to walk to the island, because he's that badass. He just built an entire land bridge of ice to march his undead horde. Who needs a frost worm when he can just freeze the ocean? But I am taking the less cool Dragonhawk. I've already completed the quest. Alright, once you survive that really slow flight to the Isle of Quel'Danas, I wish there was some way to get here faster other than going to Shatrath and taking the portal. You are going to make your way to the little main hub area, and you're going to top off the Heritage Questline with Lady Leandrin. She will be right over here. She will ask you to interact with this lantern, and once you use that lantern, she's going to send you to the south of the island to witness the death of King Antharian Sunstrider, Kel'Thas's father. So you'll go down there, you'll fight a big zombie off, and you'll watch that the King of the Blood Elves falls after killing Invincible. Then once that is done, you will run all the way back, turn the quest in, and Leandrin will give you the quest for the final scenario. That final scenario I do not recommend doing unless you already have access to Taming Undead Beast. So without that, if you complete this scenario, to my knowledge, you cannot come back. Once you're done with it, you're done with it. So if you have not gotten your Book of Undead Bone Binding, stop here and make your way to Maldraxxus, which is in the Shadowlands. Everybody's favorite expansion. Nothing bad ever happened in the Shadowlands, and Maldraxxus is going to be the northern zone. I recommend going to the Theater of Pain and running it once on Mythic, once on Heroic, and then a bunch on Normal until you are just absolutely sick of the dungeon. Every single elite that you kill in the dungeon has a chance to drop the Book of Bone Binding. The stronger the elite, the higher the chance. If you don't know that you've gotten the Book of Bone Binding, kind of like I did not know, there is a quirk. Unlike most of the other tomes and loot that gets mailed to you from dungeons, or you have to actually buy off of a vendor, if that book drops for you, but you do not loot it or have the opportunity to loot it because some of those elites despawn quickly, it is automatically learned. There's no message letting you know that you know how to do it. It doesn't show up in your spellbook. So I farmed for about 2 hours the other night while I was waiting for my lovely wife to get off work, and I never got the book to drop. And I got very frustrated, and I was insistent that the book just does not exist, and I saw a very helpful way. Thank you to whoever was kind enough to go through and dredge this really old. I will leave a copy of the macro in the description so that you guys can copy and paste. It is a list of quests. It checks for blood beasts, which are like the ticks and things from, it checks for undead beasts, it checks for cloud serpents, and it checks for the... You run this macro, it's going to give you a chat printout letting you know which ones you can tame. I'll zoom in on this section. The green yes next to Undead meant that I could do it, even though I never got the darn book. At some point during Shadowlands it dropped, and I didn't actually loot it, so it was learned automatically. Cloud Serpents, I don't remember doing that either, but apparently I can tame those as well, and I currently have 0 Cloud Serpents tamed, so I need to fix that. And as you can see, Gargon and Blood Beasts, I have not gotten the requisite books or knowledge to tame those, so no Gargon or Blood Beast for me. Alright, if you have taken the time to go get your book of Undead Bone Binding, and you are now ready to do the scenario, I am going to take you to some pre-recorded footage that I collected last night. This morning, I'm not quite sure what time I collected it, showing just how far into the scenario you need to go before leaving, because only one of these Blighthounds spawn at a time. So per run, there's only one. So if you want to get 2, if you're a Beastmaster Hunter, you do have to do the scenario twice. But good news is, you only have to do half of it once, then you can leave and do the first half again, and then just finish the scenario. So give me just a minute, and we will go back to that pre-recorded footage. Alright, once you are ready to begin your scenario, you're going to zone in. You'll use your lantern in the designated spot. You're going to hold the line against the Scourge. Basically, it's just killing stalkers and spiders until your bar reaches 100, and then you kill a named elite. Alright, we're at 95, and I did this first attempt with no pet because I'm a winner, and I figured I would not be able to dismiss my pet in time to tame the Blighthound, so I did it with no pet. Alright, you kill the spider guy, and then you face Arthas. You have an extra action button. Use your extra action button, and he kicks your butt. You lose. You are not the winner of this particular story. Alright, you come back, you shine your lantern again, and you get to watch Kael'thas cleanse the Sunwell. Or, not necessarily cleanse it, but get rid of the necrotic influence. And you're going to stick with him and fight your way down this hallway. There's a lot of talking, but once you get to the stretch, fighting the undead in this hallway, you're going to get the Lumbering Abomination down to about 50%, and the Blighthound should run up the stairs. I apologize for the drop in quality. I am currently recording a pre-recorded video because I did not think to talk over this the first time, and it just does not look as good. But for all intents and purposes, it should work. Alright, we kill this stuff. Monstrosity goes down. Alright, these undead spawn, and the Blighthound should be coming up the ramp in just a moment. There he is! There's our boy! And I drop what I'm doing, and I go ahead, and I look for my tame beast, and now it's mine. And at this point, once you're done taming it, you can either right-click on the little green dungeon eye and teleport out of instance or leave instance, or you can right-click on your portrait and leave instance. That's if you want a second one. If you just want the one, then just continue the scenario. I was going through to see if any more spawned, but that is the only one that spawns, so you have to do it at least twice if you want 2 of them. Alright, thank you guys so much, and I'll let an outro zap take over. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you would like to see the written version of this guide, where it will show you live pricing in the EU, it'll show you the list of materials, and even best practices and screenshots of the map to help you get around, check out gaminghero.io, a fantastic website with some of the best mount farms, gold farms, and even pet battle guides on the entire internet. If you use code ZAP at checkout, you will get 10% off, and you're also helping support a small content creator be able to do this a little more full time. Alright, feel free to check out the website, let me know what you think, join the Discord, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.